So after you unrack the weight and you're getting ready to press, you need to, what I like to call, make yourself as long as possible. So you're kind of doing it, but not really. You need to lock out your legs, so flex your quads, and you need to squeeze your glutes. Then immediately everything here is going to be locked in and sturdy. Does that make sense? A lot of people, when they're doing overhead press, they kind of just unrack down here soft and they're just relying on their delts, but you need to lock all this in. It's kind of similar to like doing like leg drive for the bench, and it's gonna help a lot.
So yeah, I would say that I've noticed, I do squeeze my butt when it gets like harder, but I would say that yeah, my bottom half of those feel pretty loose when I do.
Not so much lockout, yeah. And like, stop freaking saying like, but it's gonna help you because if your lower body is stable, it's gonna help you stabilize the weight over here. Because overhead press is probably one of the hardest lifts because the weight's out in front of you, and also you have to stabilize it literally overhead. Yeah. So if you keep your lower body locked in, it's gonna be a lot better. It's not so much creating torque. It's not that torque. It's going to be literally lock out your knees. You know how to do a leg extension, the leg extension machine?
Yeah.
That's what you're doing here. Lock out your knees as hard as you can. Good. Hand placement, taking a big breath. Come underneath the weight, step back and out. Squeeze your butt cheeks and lock out your legs. You should feel it. Cool. Walk it back in. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna take some getting used to.
Yeah.
So the last thing I would say is we need to work on your stance width. It's something I actually worked on with Ben as well. I personally find that I can't block out my legs or squeeze my cheeks as hard as possible if my stance is too wide, right? So stand outside of shoulder width and now try squeezing your butt, right? And try locking out your legs. Like, you can do it, you're still getting decent tension. Now come into like shoulder width or just inside, and now lock out your legs and squeeze your butt. You feel the difference? Yeah. So for me, I like to have a more narrow overhead press stance. It kind of makes it harder to stabilize the weight because your base is a little smaller, but it allows me to get a lot more lower body tension that way. So unrack one more time, but try to keep your feet like shoulder width. Step back, feet shoulder width. A little closer in, and now lock everything out and squeeze your cheeks hard. Cool. Walk it back in. Yeah, so it's gonna be a weird sensation and you might have to work on your balance a little bit, but that to me is what helps me optimize my lower body tension.
Oh my god! This is so much better! Holy shit!
Alright, walk it back in.
Yeah, that felt so much better!
We're done. We're done.